No. Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Atusa, and we have your other fabulous host, Hollis, here. And we are missing our guest today. We had a little miscommunication, and we'll reschedule with Regina Curtis, Soul Wisdom Mentor, another time. Well, we figured, Hollis and I figured the topic is still very relevant, which was when life happens, how do you deal with it? How do you move about it? And what do you do to keep your self sane and in a good situation? So we thought we'll just move forward with our goodbye bullshit, hello happiness episode. I think it's 15, and still continue with our topic. So Hollis,
Yes.
you go first. How do you handle when life happens? What are your to go places? What are the things you do to help yourself?
I have to say, this has really been a process. So, this has been because I've been renewing. I was taking a walk the other day and I literally heard in my head, say goodbye to the old Hollis. And it was say goodbye to the old Hollis. And I was like, yes. Because there are certain ways that I would do the way I would do things, the way I would handle things. And there would be a lot of anxiety and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of anxiety wrapped up in it. So when life happens and you have a certain plan on things per se, and then this thing happens and it tweaks it and pivots and throws a wrench into it, I've always been, okay, so how do we do this? How do we fix it? How do we, like, what are the steps we're going to take? But how I find it kind of progressed is I'm still kind of doing these kind of things, but with a different energy.
Mm-hmm.
So before, like I said, there was a lot of anxiety wrapped up in it. Now there's, not to lie, there are times where there'll be like a hint, a kick of it, and then I can now with a different mindset kind of be like, okay, and either go for a walk, do something nourishing for myself, some kind of like hydration of liquids or eating, or whether I'm having that Snickers moment where it's like
Mm-hmm.
I need to eat something because I'm turning into something else, or thinking, what the hell? Like, what the hell is really the big deal? Because we want to embrace those changes too, because a lot of times those really are, as annoying as it can be, those are, we wouldn't have thought of something in that way before. So I think it's just the newer Hollis is going with it more and not pushing against so much and feeling like everything has to be fixed.
That's a lot of good points there. I love what you said. That whatever you're going through, you know that it's happening for a purpose, and you're gonna come out of it, even better. And and you have your own tools that you go to that help you um, sort of go through things easier. I also have a um, similar ways that I handle things. One is that I always keep reminding myself that whatever's happening in front of me right now is happening for a purpose. I don't need to fight it, resist it, and just allowing it to flow will bring things about the way it needs to be. So that constant reminder in the background that everything's happening for a purpose. And I truly believe and trust it. So that's the other thing. As hard as it is, I don't know, I might share what the bullshit that's happening in my life right now.
Go for it.
But and I have my tools as well that I go for either a nature walk, and even if I don't have time for that, I'm lucky I live surrounded by nature, so I just go sit in my backyard, put my feet in the grass or dirt and just sit out for 5-10 minutes or however long I can. And meditation is another big one.
Mm.
And hey, guys, just another plug in. We have a summit happening this week for creativity, our book that came out, and a lot of different interviews and a lot of different workshops. So I've posted it on my social media. I know Hollis has it on her social media. You got to join the Facebook group for that summit and listen to the interviews, participate in the workshops. But one of my workshops in there is the bullshit about meditation and what meditation means and how to use meditation in your daily life. So yeah, those are my to go. I figured, and I have another one too. Watching stupid shows.
Ah,
I have a certain movies or TV shows that things that are on Netflix or
what do you
Amazon
watch?
Prime.
What do you watch?
So one of them actually on Netflix was The Good Witch. Oh my God, this was just like really feel good, just sit there and no brain power used. Uh, that was one of them. I like a lot of the crime shows. Sherlock was another one
Uh-huh.
that
That's
it
good.
was my to go. Yeah, yeah. So I have a lot of different shows like that I just I can sit there and just let it play, and I don't know what it does to me. I'm like, it's sort of a meditation because I'm not really engaged in the show, but I'm not thinking or feeling anything either. I'm really just present. I don't know what it does for me. So that's
Yeah.
a good thing that helps me. I don't know, but I think if you have a feel good TV shows or movies, that's another way to handle things when life happens.
I think you brought up, I love what you said. First of all, you said what's happening in front of me. I love how you worded that, like what's happening in front of me, because it's kind of like that present, the past, and the future, in the back of me and forward. So often we kind of like shoot to the front. There's what's in front of me, and then we kind of shoot it. Well, if this happened, then this is going to happen, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like this whole domino effect. But I like how you worded that, how that's in front of me, and then truly not to, when we resist and when we fight, that's where so much, and a lot of this crap doesn't feel good. Like, we're
Mm-hmm.
not sitting here talking about, "Oh, it just is like everything is perfect and everything is like this crap." It's bullshit. Like, it's bullshit stuff. And
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's life that happens. But it's kind of like how you react and how you respond. So
Mm-hmm.
if you react like, "Ugh," like I would do, like tighten up and like lash out and, you know, retribution or whatever, whether it's with your words or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like in the past, if somebody really pissed me off, I would not be quiet about it. I would have difficulty being quiet about things. Even like one time, very short story, there was an issue with our car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we went in to get an oil change, and then it wasn't working. All of a sudden, the car wasn't working. And we were at the counter, and it was attached to the seating area, and I started screaming. I kept repeating, "It worked when we came in, and now it doesn't. Worked when we came in, and now it doesn't." And my voice started escalating higher and higher. And Arthur's like, "Lower your voice." I'm like, "I'm not gonna lower my voice. Like, I'm mad. And these people who are waiting for their cars get to hear why I'm mad." And the people were almost kind of like, "Could you?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to be quiet about it." So, what I've kind of, I guess, in saying that, I'm learning how to harness more of that of, okay, you're not going to take advantage of me. I'm not mousy where you're going to just be like, "Oh, just do whatever you want." But I'm also not going to make a huge scene
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
unless it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, I guess, in saying all that, it's that being in the flow, but not being like fight with my dukes up of like, because it takes a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, knowing that you're not gonna step on me.
A lot of good points. Yes, I like. So shitstorm. I call it a shitstorm. When you sit in the middle of the shitstorm, and there really is staying present for it and allowing it to flow. And what you're saying is important because you are now know that you're empowered. You know you have your power and nobody can take it away. And it's you choosing how you want to use that power. And also speaking your truth. So you're not going to be quiet, and you're not just going to say things that you're pointing out and blaming others or yelling at them or whatever, but you are just coming from a place that you're going to speak your truth in the situation and in every moment. So those are always good advice, and especially if you're what you're going through at the moment, what life is throwing at you involves other people. It's the best to stay grounded in you, know your power, and your power, that your voice has power. And speaking from, this is something I tell my clients, is that speak from your I place. What I feel, what I choose, what I need, and not say like, well, you did this and I became this. So that also gives you more power, and you feel heard when you're speaking that way. And that always helps ground you in
Love that.
you, and it helps you feel your power. And that the other pointer I have there too, if you're in front of somebody and there's a conversation happening, but you feel you can't stay grounded in you, close your eyes. And you can come up either with an excuse that, hey, I just, my eyes are tired, I have a headache, but closing your eyes helps you stay in you. Because I notice, like, when people have their eyes open and they're looking at the person they're talking to, they get involved in their facial reactions or
So
what's happening, or even when they're talking, you're not hearing well enough what they're saying. But if you close your eyes, you can stay sort of grounded, and you still use your ears and hear things in a different way.
I love
So
that. Wow, that is such an amazing tip. It's so true. Come from your eye place, and then yeah, because when you're looking, it's all that whole body language, like you said, the facial expressions, and then you get caught up in that emotional response.
yes, it takes practice. The closing eyes, and the person, like Ilya now, like, knows. Like my son, he doesn't like it when I close my eyes, but he also knows. Like, we get to a point in conversation that I have to close my eyes now because I'm starting to step outside. I need to get back inside myself. So always closing my eyes, and just and like I said, he knows we've had this communication, so that he doesn't think like I'm ignoring him or not listening. um, so that doesn't bother him as much. At the beginning, when I did it, I had to explain to him, listen, this way I can be more present for you and I can really hear you, rather than if I open my eyes and see what's happening, then I'm going to get involved in all this body language that's happening and not be able to hear you as well. So
Isn't that so interesting? Like, God, it's just so interesting what we're brought up with and what we're surrounded by, because everybody has their experiences, has their stories, has their people they've interacted with, what they've grown up with. So, what you and Elia, that communication, like, that's not necessarily a regular thing. That's kind of like everybody gets gas for their cars and, like, this is, you wake up, you eat breakfast, there isn't, it's not like a routine that's kind of like a societal quote unquote norm, whatever that means. But each families kind of have their different things. So this is, since you've communicated this, then this is how a language that you're speaking where it's kind of understood. So he can pass that down to whoever he shares that with. It's just so interesting, like things that happen in our family, whatever that is. It's kind of like that's something that we do, whether we like it or not. Like it could be kind of a thing that we choose to be like, the kids could be like, I hated when mom and dad did that. I'm never going to do that again. And I will make a concerted effort not to do that with my kids. Or this was helpful, like you have with this communication. This was helpful, and I want to continue it. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I actually sometimes I do it with my clients too. Like they're talking to me and I close my eyes and I have to remind them, hey, I'm listening to you. I just need to close my eyes to be able to hear you better because I don't know, for me it just somehow closing this, and I think that's why, you know, when like for people that are blind, they say they hear better. I don't know, I close my eyes and suddenly this the ears work at a different level
Yeah.
and I can hear things different.
Yeah.
So what are your some of the tools that you have? I know you said you go out in nature and you have food that you like.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can recommend?
Music is a big thing for me.
Mm,
Music is definitely a big thing for me. It helps reflect the mood. It helps kind of like get me into that either move around space, like get my body moving kind of space, or like just decompress and breathe. Um,
listening or dancing?
both. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dancing more for myself. I was never like a person to go to places and
yeah,
dance.
yeah,
I don't know how I would be now. Maybe before I was always kind of like very self-aware. I don't know, maybe it'd be not even thinking about the whole COVID thing. Maybe it'd be different, but yeah, definitely at home over the last year. Um, that's really been something that I turn to. That's been fun. And definitely I totally relate to the whole thing with movies. Like, it's like an escape. It's kind of like get cozy under a blanket. I don't have to think about anything. For me, it's a romantic comedy. There are, like, some TV shows, Sex Education, watch the whole thing, and I forget this other one that, I can't remember the name of it right now, but just brainless. My daughter and I, like, have time where we just again, we're the ones watching romantic comedies, so we just kinda snuggle up and just kinda get lost,
yeah.
and yeah, definitely that, and energy work, like today, I actually treated myself, and I'm going to make it a monthly thing. I do energy work myself, and I'm gonna start honing in on that more, but I did go for a Reiki session today, and I treated I
Nice.
say I treated myself, but it's really should be it's part of the routine, should be
Nice.
part of the routine, and it just felt really good.
Well, you said you mentioned two of the things that is going to be part of my meditation
Mm.
workshop in the summit.
Yeah,
Again, summit guys, the link is on my um, social media. You find the link, and I know Hollis has it. But the music tool is very powerful, listening and movement. And I actually do give those as a form of meditation
yeah,
that it just helps you get you back in your body. And yeah, if anybody's around my house when I'm trying to just do the movement, there's like a music that's playing, and I'm just like, my eyes again are closed, and I'm just going for it, letting the body move however it wants. And music,
yeah,
I always say my Pandora is magical because it sort of communicates with me when I'm in a certain place or something's happening in my life. And it just gives me the right music at the right time, that just listening to it sort of again is that feeling of grounding me, bringing me back to myself and reminding me, trust the process, trust the flow. Everything's happening for a purpose, even though I might not know why,
yeah.
but I know it's happening for a purpose. So yeah, music definitely a good one, both listening to it and dancing. I love both of those. Yeah.
I cannot wait to hear your to see your workshop. everybody, you have to tune into this because I love the title, first of all, like bullshit meditations, because it's just, I think there is this, traditional concept
Hmm.
of what meditation is. And most people are like, I can't sit that, for that long because we have this, this traditional idea, which is fine. And that works for certain people, but not everybody is like
Yeah.
that. So these out of the box, different kinds of ways in order to a meditation of walking in nature, listening to music, moving your body, um, drinking
And
your
the
tea.
energy work that you mentioned, that's another part of the meditations that I'm gonna teach as well, let them know about, because that's really, I'm glad you do that for yourself, because one of the best ways to meditate and again get connected with your own energy and what's going on in your body. Honestly, I think we're both saying the same thing, that no matter what life throws at you and what shitstorm is happening, the best way is to go inside and be present for whatever is happening and just allowing things to flow. It's not easy all the time.
Yeah.
I think we all know. I certainly been there, but just that process of coming back to yourself and know, like, okay, everything's happening for a reason. I can just let it flow. It is hard, yes, and being aware of all those things that are coming up. Like, I'm aware that I'm anxious right now. I'm aware that, I'm there's anger right now. So that awareness for your emotions as well, that's part of being present for the shitstorm that's happening. Because really, there are a lot of times you are sitting in the middle of what I call a tornado and everything's happening.
You just read my mind. I just literally had, as you were, I was just thinking of like being in the eye of the storm. And the eye
Yeah,
of the storm is actually pretty calm.
yeah.
There is stuff flying around, but from what I've heard, there's a sense of like more calmness, and everything is kind of like the chaos is happening on the outside. Um, so if we are just kind of like, if we're the tornado that's kind of reacting to everything that happens, then we just wreak havoc and everything is mowed down, and there's really nothing left because we're just kind of like reacting, and we're just we're acting with our emotion of that. But if we can kind of be in the flow of it, accept how we're feeling, but use these tools to kind of like, okay, I know that if I react in this certain way, it's not going to accomplish something. So I need to take a breath. I need to contact the people that I need to contact, or whatever that is, in order for you to get into that space where you're not feeling the tornado.
Yeah, yeah,
Then you can handle, there will be a better outcome because you're not mowing everything down. You're
yeah.
taking care of your inside. You're taking care of, you're like, I gotta friggin' like, I gotta go watch a movie. Like I have to escape for a little bit. If that is what feels good to me. And then you can be refreshed and have a different mindset. Like you need to take care of yourself. It all starts with us.
Self-care, self-care, self-love, and just knowing you have choices. You have choices in how you're reacting, how you're responding, what's happening. And again, I'd like to emphasize, we all know it's not easy. Sitting in the middle of that shitstorm, or um, what is happening around you, and it's not easy sometimes. And the more you go inside, the more you love yourself and take care of yourself. What, as Hollis said, whatever that may look like, that, hey, just leave me alone. I need to go watch my movie right now. Or even like she does, getting a Reiki session or massage or whatever it is, the self care that will help you feel better or be more present for yourself. It's great. It's a good idea, and the more you do it, the easier.
Yeah.
I would say it's gotten also easier to go through the shitstorms.
Because for you, are you feeling that? Are you feeling like it's
I feel I'm not like before. I It would really be like fasten your seatbelt and go for the ride, and now it's more of, okay, we know how this works. We're ready for it, and it's just letting it be. It's and like I said, I have to. Meditation is a big thing. Like for me right now, I just any chance I have, I sit in that quiet space, and either it's outside, just sitting out with nature and just going inside, or the energy, feeling my own energy to keep me sane as I'm going through. Yeah, I think let me I want to, I guess, share what's happening in my life right now is that if you read my chapter in my book, I have a narcissistic, um yes, a hole of an ex. And my son is soon to be 14. And just, yeah, he's filing for um, taking me back to court again. So it's been like I said, Ilya, I think, was close to 2.5 when we separated, and he's going to be 14. So now go calculate all about 12 years of this shit that I've had to deal with, which actually I guess then I should be thankful, because he's the main reason that I've gotten so used to the shitstorm and being able to sit here and laugh with you guys and just say, hey, I'm going for a ride. Because trust me, at the beginning, this was not what you would see. You would see tears and anger and just like, um, I would have been so anxious that and I think I mentioned it even in my book, PTSD. Like,
yeah.
it was a constant, like all my nerves were firing that I couldn't quiet them down. But yeah, thank you, because now I
Yeah.
get to. I've gotten a lot of tools and techniques for going through it, and being able to, as things, because it is out of my control. A lot of these things is not just out of my control. It's like everybody, we can't control things, and that was one of the biggest things that I had to learn, that I can't control it. And the more I try to control it, again, imagine that twist that's happening. And if you try to control it, Rumi has a great poem about this. And like, if you put your hand on that, it's going to break off your hand, you know? So you want to just stay as much as you can in yourself and present for it, and let it flow and let it move. And that movement and flow is just going to clear it out by itself.
Oh my gosh. So many things that you just said that are incredible, that I just like, expected and unexpected. So in life, there are things that are kind of unfortunately become expected, like your circumstance right now, because you know that he's this narcissistic asshole that's just kind of like, you know what he's doing and that he's kind of relentless. So there's almost this expectation that it's happening over these years, but this progression in how, which is it's life. You start out in these ways of how you things present and the way that we react to things, and then it changes over time because you're like, okay, this isn't new. It's not like my first rodeo here, we and then it's that whole internal going inside, like everything that you're saying, and then the movement and the flow. So there's the expected, and then there's the unexpected things that all of a sudden just pop up
Mm-hmm.
when life happens.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, one of my contributors is going through something right now. There was an unexpected death in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like these things when life happens and you're like, that wasn't in the plan. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't how you handle, how do you handle it, and all of that. So everything that you're mentioning, it's, and this control, it's like we're so, I mean, as a society, aren't we? Like we're so wired for control.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we seem like we might be like, "Oh, I don't care." There's so much of a underlying of like, subliminal messaging and all of this stuff that's just, there's so much about, we could talk about that too, like another topic on a
Another
show,
topic, yeah, control.
like
Yeah.
control and what all of that is. But I just, there's so many things that you brought up, and I just like, I'm newer to knowing you, but I'm just I'm just happier that for you that you have all these tools so you can tackle it and be healthier for you and be healthier for Ilya.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And that's one of the reasons I'm grateful for all of it, because again, I've mentioned this many times, is I feel my life was the way it was for my training ground, for me to get here, to not just be able to help myself through this, but other
Mm,
people.
yeah.
And I always get my clients, because they all come to me, um, different stories but similar. And I'm like, "Hey, if I can do it, if I can sit here and tell you, like, I had all these problems and physical problems and emotional things, and now I am living a good life, even with all these things happening. I cannot say my life is bad or my life is shitty. And because this stuff that's happening, even the shitstorm, I don't like, if I put scale, my scale for the good stuff is so much bigger that outweighs this, even this shit storm. It's like, that's just like a, little bug right now. It's annoying, how you have that gnat that keeps coming around. You're just like,
Right,
oh
right,
God, where are you? I just want to come grab you. The gnat is there, but you can't say, oh my God, my life is so horrible, or my day was so bad because this annoying gnat was with me the whole day. Who can say that? Yeah, the gnat was there, but still I had all these great experiences. And, again, as you go through it, you feel more empowered, and um, you find new ways to get inside and speak your truth, feel your truth, be present for yourself, for others. And no matter how you look at it, at the end of the day, it still is a beautiful life with whatever's happening. If you come from that place that, I know everything's happening for a purpose, I know there's a reason behind this, even though I might not see it, there is a reason. And the more you trust that flow and let go of the control, the easier you move about it. And again, have your own tools and techniques. We have ours. Come to Summit. I'm sharing some of mine. There are other people sharing their tools and techniques. And come up with your own ways. You choose, you got to get in touch with yourself to see what feels good to you.
right.
And whatever tool you use when you're in that shitstorm, it's the perfect tool. Use it until the shitstorm passes, and it passes. It always
Yeah.
passes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. It always does. And truly gratitude.
Gratitude, yeah,
Truly, it does make a really big difference. It,
yeah,
it really, just being grateful for, like you've said a bunch of times, you're grateful for this actually happening because of the growth that it's provided. Um, Grateful for, the fact that I have a light over here that lights up the space to make it brighter. It's truly finding, I'm grateful that I could walk today. I'm
mm-hmm.
grateful that I woke up. I'm grateful that, you know, um, I was able to have a Reiki session, but grateful that I can see. it has to fit for you, because I feel like we do look out so much for this guidance, and it's good to have guidance and good to have mentors, but you
Mhm.
really, like you said, you have to do what works for you, or else it doesn't feel authentic, doesn't feel real.
On that perfect note,
That's not right.
that was a perfect ending because it's true. It has to, all those techniques, everything. That I'm not even gonna say it. Perfectly said.
Thank you.
We're just gonna end this, and guys, follow my podcast. Subscribe to Hollis's podcast. Again, the links for the summit is on my social media, on Hollis's social media. It's happening this week. A lot of great interviews and a lot of different workshops. So go ahead, pop in there. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
watching another episode of Goodbye Bullshit, Hello Happiness. See you all next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.